The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
World famous Butch and Bob Show right here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good.
You good?
Yep, I'm good.
Wayne County baseball team won again last night. They were down 2-0 and came back 1-5-2, right?
That was an impressive pitching performance by Rowan Blanton. That was good. I mean, that was just a very superb performance. Pierce had no answer for him after the second inning.
Superb, huh?
Retired 18 and 19 batters to close it out and worked quickly and had everything working. It was a fun game to call. Good crowd on hand last night, so it'll be fun playing them Friday over there.
Okay. All right.
Got the Gators tomorrow in Waycross, Ware County.
Ware County. The schedule shows different. It's one of those things where it's got changed, and so we'll be down there tomorrow at Ware County. And then next week, they'll be here. And that's opposite of what the printed schedule says. So just remember that. Just like with the Vidalia games. So, interesting school board meeting last night.
Never saw that many people at a school board meeting.
Ever?
Ever.
You've been here 40 years.
And that place was packed.
I mean, there have been some controversial issues that have come up through the years.
That's the biggest crowd I've ever seen in a school board. The chairs were everywhere. Packed house.
Well, people do love their athletics here in Wayne County.
There's a lot of people there.
And plus other issues that were raised last night. But that was the main thing there is, send some of that love to the athletics instead of putting it all into a ag center. But, everybody supports the ag center. There's no doubt about that. It's just according to how much money is going to be spent. Everybody wants it. We've supported it. The athletic school, the boosters clubs have supported it. Everybody just practically has supported that. It's just according, do you need to spend 12 or can you spend a lot less than that and put some money toward a weight room and to JC
other
Stadium?
Projects, I said.
And other projects also.
I said they looked at other facilities and they're not close to a $12 million project. So the question is, why is it a $12 million project? But I said, luckily Todd Wise asked that question.
And that's a school board member, Todd Wise.
And they backed down. So, but that was the plan. So when they had the call meeting Friday and Todd Wise says he couldn't support it, and word spread that they're not in favor of it. And I talked to Michael Kirkley yesterday. He's in charge of the ag facility. He never thought it was going to be that much money either. I mean, they want an ag facility, but they don't think it's going to be $12 million. So it's just crazy.
Okay. Well, it was not voted on last night, so the school board.
But we'd love to have some school board members or superintendent come discuss it.
Love to have the superintendent and school board members on here. Yeah.
But there's video evidence.
Seats are open right now.
There's video evidence. Said somebody tried to send me the video that they were going to make that decision, so they can say what they want to do. But I'm not. I have to get my tech guy to open it up so I can bring it. But I mean, it's there.
There's a video there saying that we're going to make the decision last night, and then last night they said they weren't going to make the decision.
There's a video saying they're ready to move on a $15 million. They're within a second of approving a $15 million project. So let's move forward.
15 or 12?
Well, 15 combined. That and the ROTC.
Oh, that and the ROTC
right,
building.
Yeah,
okay.
So somebody tried to send me the video last night. It's on my computer, but I just got my tech guy I couldn't open it up. So.
Okay, we'll get our tech guy to do that computer stuff for us.
But anybody who doesn't think they were ready to move on these projects is just not being truthful. I mean, they were ready to move until Todd Wise says, I think $12 million is not a good number.
And if they, if it's being misinterpreted, we'd love to have the school board members on here that think that the information is not correct that over here over the radio, to correct us in their own voices.
And all they had to say was, look, no decision is going to be made last night. We changed our mind after Todd Wise questioned the $12 million. That's all I had to say.
All I had to say.
Why are they blaming me?
I don't know, Bob. You get blamed for a lot of things. But you got tough skin. You can take it.
It's not my first rodeo. I mean, you've
been doing this for 40 years. So.
That's the way it works. They've got work sessions and they vote. And it's a called meeting. The county does it all the time. The county has these work sessions. They talk about 15 items they're going to vote on, and they vote on it at the next meeting. Same thing here. They had a proposal from an architect, showed them the project, showed them the cost, and luckily one board member says, I think $12 million is way too much money. Let's back up.
All right.
So that's what they're doing. So why don't they just say that? Why don't they just say, look, we're changing course. We're not going $12 million.
Yeah, yeah.
But whatever.
After he brought it up, yeah, we said, well, let's just
I can tell you, I've been blamed.
think about it.
I've been blamed before.
Oh, yeah, you've been blamed many times. It's amazing that you've got that much power, Bob.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing you've got that much influence and power that you can change and affect policies here in Wayne County. Wow, Bob. I'm just honored to be in your presence here.
It just amazes me because, like I tell people, nobody calls to ask for my opinion for nothing.
Nobody calls for your opinion.
Nobody calls and says, who do you think ought to be the coach?
Well, you've got opinions on everything, Bob.
I said I don't mind giving it. But,
I know, you don't mind at all.
But I'm just telling nobody calls in authority and ask me. I can promise you that. They don't care what Bob Morgan thinks.
No, they don't, Bob.
But if you want to know my opinion, believe me, just ask me. I'll tell you.
Just ask him. He's got an opinion.
We've been doing that for what, 40? I've been doing that here, like I said. That's the great thing about the Butch and Bob show. I can give my opinion.
Yeah. And we've been doing that for a long time, since the late 90s, somewhere along there. I don't know. I can't remember exactly when we started the official Butch and Bob show. Right. And we used to talk a little bit, but then it just kind of grew from 5 minutes to 10 minutes, and then 15, and then we actually gave it a name, and then we had a former Wayne County give us the world famous.
Right, Jenny Jones called it world famous. So it's been that ever since, and that's been eons ago.
Eons ago, way back in the last century.
But like I said, we've said all the time, anybody that wants to come out here is invited to come out here. We'd love to have come talk about the project.
Yeah, and if we're wrong, just let us know. Come out here and sit down here and say, here's where y'all wrong, boys. And
I take exception to being wrong. So
yeah, we know you do, Bob. Bob does not like to be wrong.
Thankfully, somebody's got it on video. So.
Okay.
Check the tape.
Yeah, check the tape, huh? Well, that's the good thing about today's society, Bob. Everything's being recorded somewhere. People, everybody's got a camera and a video recorder.
Well, I said I've documented. I told this story numerous times on this show. When this East Blast, before it passed, the East Blast that was passed last year by the voters of Wayne County, board members, superintendent had these meetings with these athletic-minded folks.
Right.
To talk about, what do y'all think? Do you need to renovate the stadium, build a brand new stadium? Because when the East Blast passes, y'all going to get out there and pass that East Blast, because we've got to build a weight room, and we're going to have money left over, and we're going to decide if we're going to renovate or build a stadium. That was what they were told. Everybody got excited. Man, we're going to have all this money from the East Blast. But again, they didn't read the fine print that says the first money for the East Blast goes to pay for the overcost of James E. Bacon, which has gone into the millions of dollars. And then the first two projects everybody knew was the ROTC building and the ag facility.
Right, that was the main project.
So. Right, and that's been passed, so they have to build them. There's no doubt they're going to be built, and nobody denied. And like I said, no one's against building one.
That. We want ROTC. We want the ag center.
But by the time you pay off the overcost of James E. Bacon, and by the time you build a $12 million ag facility and whatever the ROTC facility, the word got out. Guess what? There is no money for a weight room. There is no money to build a stadium. There is no money. Don't even worry about it. It's a pipe dream. And that's what Jay Beauchamp learned. He was told, hey, get excited. We're going to do all these great things for athletics. And guess what, Coach? There ain't no money. So guess what? He said, thank you.
Packed up and left,
come to South Carolina. And I know that because I've talked to Jay. I like Jay Beauchamp.
Yeah.
I don't like what he did at the touchdown club meeting. Got everybody fired up.
And then left Monday. Saturday, he's getting everybody fired up and leaves Monday.
But make no mistake about it, we lost a darn good football coach. And one of the reasons we lost him is because he realized that you can't compete without facilities. You can't compete without a weight room. You can't. No. I mean, that's just the facts.
Not in today's athletics.
So luckily, Todd Wise said, "Whoa, $12 million. That seems out of whack." Ware County just built one for $4. Pierce built one for $4. Coffee built one for $4. Why is ours $12? And that's when the word spread. They were about to spend $12 million on an ag facility, and everybody said, "Whoa, back up." So luckily, that is the good news. The good news, they're rethinking it. But just tell the truth. We're rethinking it. We're not building a $12 million facility. We're going to look at, but make no mistake. That's why they met with the architect to see the plans. And there was nobody but Todd Wise. I didn't see anybody else say, "Hey, I think you're right, Todd." No, they were throwing him under the bus. They didn't care what Todd Wise thought at that Friday call meeting. Bring
All right,
Todd
so-
Wise out, and we're asking.
We're getting text messages in. It said in the meeting on 213, Sharon Daniels made a motion to proceed. And shout out to all who showed up. Keep the momentum going. These are the text messages that have come in, not what Bob and I are saying, text messages. Someone's going to start the Bob Morgan for School Board campaign. So, Bob, get ready for that.
That ain't happening.
Bob for district and chairman. Yeah, he wants you to be the school board member and the chairman. Bob is not running for anything. Yeah. Okay, and one of these days Bob might have to run for the county line, but he's not running for any political office. You can't do that and be a news person. Someone wants to know, did the school board get a couple of architects to draw plans for the Ag Center and ROTC, or did we just use the first picked?
Like I said, it appears that was the only architect they talked to.
And someone
he
just
was there.
just texted in, just do right, and we know who that is. You can't hide behind that slogan, just do right, is what someone just texted in.
He spoke last night.
And have they decided on new high school coach, on the new high school football coach yet? No, because they said they're going to take applications to the end of February. They won't make a decision until March.
Yeah, somebody said the interview process starts next week on that, but I haven't heard any names. I heard they have a lot of applicants, though. I've heard close to 20, 25 people have applied for that position. So
How many?
20 to 25 is what
20
I've
to
heard.
25, okay.
So hopefully they'll get a good coach. But I like what people say at the coffee shop. Nick Saban couldn't win with that schedule. So we'll see how it plays out.
Say that again?
The word at the coffee shop, Nick Saban come in not win with that schedule. That schedule is loaded for bear. Well, that's a tough schedule.
Yes, sir.
Non-region and region.
Warner Robins, Perry, Weirk High School, and what's the other one?
New Hampstead's still in there.
New Hampstead. Okay.
We got to play Appleton and Pierce and Richmond Hill, and I mean it's loaded for bear.
Yeah.
It's a tough schedule, but it is what it is for 2 more years. A lot of travel too. I hate being in that region, but. Coach McDonald made a good point in this game tomorrow night, Ware County, and that's a future region opponent, so we get a good idea of what they've got because we'll be playing them in region the next 2 seasons.
Right. Yep.
It's always been a good rivalry, Wayne and Ware. So I don't mind Ware being in the region as much as I do Perry and Warner Robins. It's just the travel, just those long trips are just tough to make.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any
We all
younger.
had to when we were in high school.
You had to go to Warner Robins?
No, but we had to go to Valdosta, and we had to go to Moultrie, and we had to go to Tifton.
They were in the region.
The first 2 years, sophomore and junior. And then the next 2 years, luckily, we changed to Savannah. And so that wasn't near as far. But that first 2 years was long time on the cheese wagons.
They're air conditioned now.
Yeah, they weren't air conditioned by then.
They're not as bad as they were back then.
Get on a bus full of athletes that have just competed for several hours out in the sun and running and jumping and all that kind of stuff, and they get on the bus with them and have to smell that for the next 3 hours getting back to Jesup. He saw a lot of folks with their head kind of out
the window, right? Yeah,
that nose stuck out the window there.
Give you some fresh air,
Yeah,
please.
we didn't have Febreze and that kind of stuff back then.
It's crazy.
It's the same way in any sport. Football's the same way. You got all those. I don't know if they shower there or not on the away games. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know because I know they take all their uniform stuff off and they may shower. It would make sense they would, but we didn't track. Not back in the late '60s and early '70s. Oh, we're just getting all kinds of text messages in here. Some of them I'm not going to read on the air because people are upset. Let's just put it that way. People are upset. And sometimes when we read stuff on the radio here, people will hear it, and then they'll say, "Did you hear what Butch and Bob said?" No, it's a text message, so we have to be careful. No, we didn't say it. We were just reading the text message. Oh, boy. Yeah. And someone just said, what did we say? Always say in the news story, Bob?
It's always about the money.
This right here, someone text in, follow the dollar. Follow the dollar.
I said again, I just want to emphasize again, no one's against building the ag facility. Everybody knows that the ag facility is going to be
It's
built.
needed.
It needs to be built.
Right, it needs to be built. We need to teach
those students need it, right?
But
the question is, and they don't believe it's in the range of $12 million, it's more in the range of $4 or $5 million. So
yeah, if they're willing to spend 12 on that, then they got a lot of money left over for athletics.
Right. You mean if they knock it down to 4 or 5?
Well, even if they drop it half.
Right. I'm just saying.
If you drop down to 6,
right.
You still got $6 million left. Right. And, several years ago, a little over $2.5 million are going to completely renovate JC Stadium, put a new track there and all that kind of stuff. I know it's a little more expensive today, but not that much more. If you had, just imagine what you could do with $6 million with JC Stadium, the track there, the facilities, a weight room and stuff like that. Then our athletes would be on the same training level as the other athletes in the counties around us.
Yeah, that's what I did
throughout the state.
Like I said, I watched that call board meeting on the way to Emerson, Georgia. The person I had it on the live feed, and I was just yelling at the video. Why doesn't somebody just say to the architect, look, it's a square footage situation. 36,000 square feet is just way too much. What can I get for 20,000 square feet? What can I get for $12 million too much? What do we get for $6 million? What? No one asked that question. I was yelling. You asked them that question. He's sitting right there. He's the architect.
They have the plans for the ag center made up when they're
right. He showed the plans. The plans were there. They went. That's what people got upset about. They went over there in a corner for almost 40 minutes by themselves, looking at the drawings instead of. So like the lady said in the comments the other night, there wasn't much transparency on that. They could easily let everybody there look at the drawings as well, but that didn't take place. So. But the architect had the drawings. I mean, that's what they looked at for 40 minutes out there over there by themselves. But the cost was $12.1 million. So my question was, at the video Friday, why doesn't somebody look at the architect and say, what can we get for 20,000 square feet? What can we get for $5 million? Bring us back those drawings.
Right.
But nobody asked it. They said the only person that was balking about the $12.1 million was Todd Wise. Todd Wise says,
one of the school board members.
I just can't support it.
Okay.
And that's when everybody left that meeting Friday. Like I said, they had about 35 people at that meeting on Friday. But again, it was a work session. There was no public participation, so they weren't allowed to speak. So that's why the huge crowd showed up last night, because they knew there was public participation. And like I said, 9 people signed up. 8 people spoke. One guy said that everything that he wanted to say was already said. So, but then they limited. It's normally 5 minutes for public participation, but the chairman said with that many people, they limited to, I believe, 3.5 minutes is what they were given last night.
Because they had so many people.
They had so many people signed up.
That makes sense. Somebody texted in. I'm going to let you answer this question, Bob. It says, with the ag building in question, are they no longer talking about JC Stadium, either rebuilt or building a new stadium?
That's what I'm saying. They're not. That's off the table. There's not going to be any money for that.
If they spend $12 million on an ag, then that's totally off the table, right?
Look,
that and weight room.
It's not just the facilities they got to build. They got to buy buses. They got technology. There's other costs.
Well, there's money for all that. That's all in there.
Not if you. The money only goes so far.
They're going to take care of the ag building and ROTC building first, which they should. Right. That's no doubt about that. They should take care of that first. But the rest of them, then they take a look at buses and technology and stuff like that. But if you're willing to spend 12 on ag, and if you reduce it by millions of dollars, and stuff like that, then you do have money left over for the athletics. That's what people are saying. Well,
the message has been made clear. They don't have no money for athletics. I mean, that's what the statement was made at the meeting by one of those board members, said we've done enough for athletics. And that's what people got riled up about as well. And like I said, I go back to those meetings before the East Blast. They went to these athletic-minded people involved in athletics, the Touchdown Club members, and begged them, please go support the East Blast, because if you do, we're either going to renovate the stadium or build a new stadium. That's what we were told. That's what they were sold. But that's out the window because of the overcost of James E. Bacon and these two facilities and everything else they're going to build, there is no money for athletics.
Yeah, RTC buildings, I'm going to just text in about that, is not that much money compared to the other stuff.
So I went back and looked at my notes when all these meetings were taking place.
Right.
And the figures that were given that I have in my notes was $7 million for the ag facility and $4 million for the ROTC.
Yeah, that sounds
It was
right.
$11 million total.
$11 million total.
That's
Yeah,
that's why when they heard $12 million for the one facility, it was like, whoa,
why is it $5 million more?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I went back and looked at my notes when all these meetings were taking place and they were discussing all this, because they made it clear from the get-go the two main projects on the East Block was the ag facility and ROTC. And like I said, that's what people voted on, and they voted it overwhelmingly. So those two projects are going to be built. I mean, that's a fact. The question is, what's the cost, though? But looking at my notes, the notes that I got was the ag facility was about $7 million and the ROTC was about $4 million. It was $11 million total for the two projects.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why everybody's freaking out when the architect comes in and says it's going to be a 36,000 square feet facility for $12.1 billion.
Okay.
Like I said, J. Bo Shaw got the memo. Look, you can forget athletics. It ain't going to happen. So he took a different course of action.
And see that, then that,
And people need to understand
that's for the next 5-6 years.
years. Right.
Yeah, because that's how long the East Blast is going to last, 5 to 6 years.
And that's why yesterday on the Butch and Bob show, I stated again, one of the worst decisions ever made was when Jay Brinson, the school superintendent, walked in with the $2.1 million renovation to the JC Stadium, a brand new facility with a 6-lane track. That was
renovating the stadium with the new track,
right,
and redoing the concessions.
You know what's funny too? The other night,
what?
I'm watching the SEC track meet.
Uh-huh.
Every school in America there.
Right.
Know how many lanes they had?
How many, Bob?
6.
6.
Yeah.
But we had to have
So it's good enough for the SEC to have 6.
and we could have had 6.
We could have had 6 at JC Stadium, right?
And the concessions and bathrooms and all that several years ago. And you had everybody on board.
Well, you had the people in Portland,
Right. The school superintendent,
the coach, the track coach, the football coach, everybody.
Everybody, yep.
But that didn't happen.
Oh, well.
Still irate about
Can't
that.
cry over spilled milk, Bob. That was years ago.
You can still be mad about it.
I guess you can, Bob. You can still be mad about
I'm
it.
still fuming.
Most of the people around today weren't even around then. Yeah, the principal, the school superintendent, a lot of school board members. I mean, it was a whole different group back then.
I just know the frustration Jay Brinson had. Like I said, he's one of my best friends in the whole wide world. I miss him every day. But I remember conversations with him time and time again, the frustration. And he says, I'm the superintendent of schools. I've got the football coach on board. I got the track coach on board. And I got board members saying, no, we're not doing it. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, Bob. Nothing they can do about it. That happened years ago. But in this current situation right now, something is, you got a bunch of people out there and that's expressed their concerns that athletics is not being addressed, that there should be money there for them. We need the right facilities for our athletes. A lot of people feel that. We need a stadium that we're proud of. We need decent bathrooms and concessions, and an up-to-date weight room. That weight room now is 21 years old, and that's how long the school's been around, the high school. So, yeah, time to make it on par with the people we compete against. A lot of them.
We're way behind.
Yeah. So, a lot of people feel that way. And so they're frustrated. And so we'll see what happens, Bob. But as we mentioned on the Butch and Bob show, any school board members, principals, school superintendent, any of those folks are always welcome to come on here.
Seats are right
because
here.
A lot of times they'll say, well, people, you just don't know the facts. Well, we've got a forum here that you can put on the facts. It goes live over the radio. We record it, put it on our website, put it on YouTube, and so it's there for people to get the facts, the facts they have. All right, Bob? Is that it? That's it. All right. Here we go. The world-famous Butch and Bob show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, brought to you by Van's Barbecue, Murphy Builder Supply, First Southern Bank, and also brought to you by O'Quinn and Associates.